It's Saturday, August 9th, 2015. Today we take our cameras on location to the Florida Railroad Museum. The museum's gift shop and depot are located on the former Seaboard Airlines famous Sarasota subdivision at milepost SW860.0. This rolling exhibit, this time capsule on wheels, will captivate passengers as they take a journey back in time to the golden age of passenger rail travel. The museum's collection of vintage rolling stock and locomotives is enough to captivate and fascinate the rail fan and history buff, both young and young at heart. The unique surprise for me today would be this retired freight gun converted for passenger use with wood and bus seats.
Welcome to the Florida Railroad Museum.
Hi, I need to get 2 tickets.
After checking out the train, we head back to the gift shop where we meet Heather Vick, the station master here at the Florida Railroad Museum, to get our tickets for the 2 o'clock ride.
Here are your 2 tickets.
Thank you very much.
They board at the loading ramp down the field at 1:30. Here's information.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Miss Heather. We're looking forward to the train trip.
Have a great time.
Hello, I'm Alex Martin. I'm a trainman here at the Florida Railroad Museum.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Fantastic. We're out here to ride the train, see what's going on, check out the sights and sounds, everything in the museum. You came to the museum, and what got you started with your love of trains?
I started here with the museum about a year and a half ago, January 2014. I started here as an intern, doing my internship here with a program I was at through USF. And I started with my thing with trains when I was about 5 years old or so.
Oh, wow. So I'm assuming the train thing is a lifelong passion.
It sure is.
Well, what was it like starting out at the museum? All the
It
stuff
was,
you had to do?
well, honestly for myself, I have a high level of autism Asperger's, if you didn't know that already.
Okay.
And for me, it was different because it was handling a lot of people, being around like hundreds of people all the time, and it was different. It was just,
So it was a learning curve and a little bit of a challenge.
yeah, it was like.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit of history about the line?
We're on a former Seaboard line that started out the line originates in Richmond, Virginia, but the line for us ends in Willow, which is the train yard. And Willow, back in the early 20s, was a logging town, and they needed it to service to ship lumber and such to the port of Manatee from there.
Okay.
The line was built in 1902.
The main motive power for today's run would be the museum's number 1835, a GP7 built in 1951 for the United States Army. This particular locomotive has 1,500 horsepower, shown here coming out of the siding as the crew prepares to back her onto the consist. After lighting the switch for our movement, we climb in the cab of 1835 as we ride her down to the consist for coupling. The engineer on today's run is board member and president of the railroad, Pat Masterson. He takes a lot of pride in this museum, and it really shows. A lot's changed under Pat's presidency, including improved rolling stock and right-of-way. Everything's nice, clean, and pristine. The crews are friendly, and he's a fine engineer, too. Here we see as excited passengers look on while trainman Alex gets into position to back 1835 onto the consist. After coupling, he then connects air hoses and releases the handbrake, each step he takes with meticulous precision. It's all about safety on this railroad. After reboarding the train, Liz and I went to go find our seats, while this little guy anxiously awaited the 2 o'clock departure. Back out on the open-air gondola, we find this family and their service dog enjoying a quiet Sunday afternoon. Safety speeches are given, and at exactly 2 o'clock, with 2 blasts of the whistle, 1835 departs from Parrish towards Willow. After getting underway, we follow Alex around while he collects and punches passengers' tickets.
We have to go through and punch tickets all the time.
Leaving Parrish behind, we head out to Florida's lush, beautiful scenery, passing farmlands and greenery throughout the trip. However, the farmlands would not last, as the railroad would take a turn to the east about a mile up the line, and we'd head deep into the swamp.
Hi.
Swinging to the east allows us to check out today's train, which includes a rebuilt Seaboard Airlines segregated coach from the 1920s, an Atlantic Coastline lounge, the new Georgia coach, and a Seaboard Coastline caboose, painted in the Family Lines livery here at Willow Shops. On some occasions, this field is live with a Wild West town full of notorious outlaws and gunslingers as they storm the train to take back the gold and excite passengers. Just up the line a ways, we pass Dickey Road at milepost SW858. It's the only at-grade road crossing on this line. The conductor for today's afternoon train was John Hallish. John's been a member of the museum for about 4 years now, and he enjoys taking passengers on a trip back in time as he retells Florida's colorful railroad history. Wake up, kid. There's a lot of sights to take in. As we make our way back through the train, we find all sorts of passengers reclining in the 821, a restored Seaboard Airline coach. These passengers appear to enjoy taking in the scenery, while this family seems to be full of smiles and laughter. Who wouldn't be if this was how you were taking in your Sunday afternoon? Coming into the yard, we see more of the museum's private collection tucked down an industrial spur. And here we watch as this dad explains to his son how railroad ties are inserted. Very neat. In the south end of the yard at milepost 854, the crew prepares to uncouple 1835 to run around the train for the return trip back to Parrish.
Okay, now that the engine's gone, I can talk to you guys, so we got plenty of time to talk about it.
They're leaving this.
Hook up in the back, and he's going to push us into the yard. I can explain what we're doing here, going into our yard, and showing you where Santa Claus comes to visit us.
It's clear to see why the museum built this open car. It's a great vantage point to watch the Locomotive Pass.
That locomotive from 1950, the U.S. Army bought it. So the sawmill is still there. The boiler is gone. They did make electricity for light bulbs. It went off at 9 o'clock at night, come back on at 7 in the morning, and all the scrap wood they used to boil to make steam for the little steam generator. There was no TV or radio or Nintendo or Game Boy or anything. I mean, 13 railroads on the East Coast went out of business. Some of the biggest railroads in the world went out of business in a matter of years because they had no help. Amtrak is run by the government. They took the passenger service over because railroads couldn't afford to do it anymore. So, all gone. Moved.
Let me know when you get a release on that north end.
With the brake test.
Make sure we have brakes.
Deeper into the yard, we find the museum's maintenance tracks, which house the unique rolling stock the museum uses to maintain the right-of-way as a lease agreement for FPL. Most of this equipment is from the early 70s. Perhaps this young man's dreaming of what it would be like to work on a maintenance of way crew. After entering the museum's station area and shops, we find each piece of equipment in various forms of restoration. The museum takes great pride in restoring each piece of rolling stock to its specified requirements and heritage. It's all about preserving Florida's railroad history here.
Oh, this other car is saying it's a private car. Three cars in stock. And he's restoring it, take on Amtrak and take it all over the country. He's only been working on it for 20 years.
Hey, I'm Martin. I'm a trainee here at the Florida Railroad Museum. We've got all these great passengers here, so come on out and join us.
With special thanks to Alex Martin, Pat Masterson, John Hallish, and Heather Vick. We here at Country Railfan Productions would like to say thank you for keeping this unique Florida treasure alive. For more information about the Florida Railroad Museum, check out their website at frrm.org. Like them on Facebook, or just stop by. Train rides are Saturday and Sunday at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. And as always, happy train watching.